Hello and welcome to the Take Charge podcast. I'm joined today by Ramachandra Revur, who is the co-founder and chief operating officer of NavaFlex, formerly known as FlexEnergy LLC. The press you see around batteries and electrification is typically across EV, energy storage and eVTOL, but in this episode we spotlight wearables and flexible batteries as a market with great potential. Ram talks us through the different application areas such as medical, military, and construction, how batteries can survive in the washing machine, and why this industry has a bright future ahead. Perhaps you're curious about how your battery and electrification career will look in the future. Well, this podcast provides insight into a pathway you might just want to consider. I learned a lot from Ram, and I look forward to opening my LED powered Take Charge jumper on Christmas morning. Ram, it's time to take charge. Ram, welcome to the show. Pleasure to have you on.
Thanks for having me today.
No, our pleasure. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about all things wearables with you today. Wearables, flexible batteries. So before we get into some of the applications and the background of wearables, tell us a little bit about you and your background and how you came to co-found NavaFlex.
My background is I first finished my PhD in India from Indian Institute of Chemical Technology a long time ago, and then moved to Belgium for a 2-year postdoctorate in Leuven, and from there I moved to US, Ohio State University, to get my another postdoc, and from there my journey started with the industry into superconductive components SCI, and then from there we started a small startup in 2001 called Metamateria Technologies, and I was fortunate to be one of the beginners. Like, we had started with 3 or 4 people, and at that time the nanotechnology was just emerging, and me and my colleague and we started nanotechnology at that time, and we quickly grown into, within 3 or 4 years we went up to 40 people, employees in a company, and we were doing different types of nanomaterials, starting from fuel cell applications, nano solar applications, water purification, all different kinds of metal oxides, metals, so that we can apply to different fields. So that's how we have grown. And then after spending there like 19 years, me and my colleague Dr. Suvankar Sen Gupta and another partner, Dr. Amul Tevar, we thought of starting on our own, not only for contributing to the science and then to the society also, for the new novel technologies to make the quality of life, improve the quality of life. So that's how this FlexEnergy, we started a company called FlexEnergy. Now it is NavaFlex, and this is mainly to make flexible washable batteries for wearables, which can be seamlessly integrated into the fabric. So that is what our intention or objective of this company. And this is energizing the next generation wearables with flexible, washable, safe batteries, and definitely the new innovation.
Fascinating. And let's talk about the main applications first of all. What's the most available technology when it comes to wearables, and where do you see the potential kind of emerging applications when it comes to wearables?
Yeah, that's a good point. So these flexible batteries are needed for wearables. These wearables have gained a lot of popularity in the healthcare and medical industry. Devices like sensors, fitness trackers, smart watches, they offer features like heart rate monitoring and activity tracking, sleep analysis. So these are all like a growing interest on the common people, which align with the personal health and wellness. And then the military applications. Each soldier carries a lot of wearables on their body, like GPS, special goggles, communication gadgets, all these different gadgets, they're all wearables on the body of the soldier, and where these flexible batteries are definitely required on that. And the third one is fitness and fashion industry. Fashion industry is also growing like very big nowadays, And these wearables provide a convenient way to access information and perform tasks without the need to pull out your smartphone, because right now people are using smartphone for everything. So instead of using that, we can have these wearables which can directly communicate this information to the wherever it is needed. This integration into daily life can be very attractive to the consumers who value efficiency and also like multitasking. Now all youngsters are now looking for doing multitasking things, so that is what it is important. And these technologies continue to evolve every day. We are getting like new and innovative technologies, and wearables can offer even more sophisticated features and then functionalities. For example, I was reading smart glasses. For example, they are exploring applications in the fields like augmented reality, healthcare, enterprise, broadening of potential market for wearables. All these are like too many applications are going to be in the future. And also with all these wearables, flexible batteries, what we are working on, will be very, very important to project these wearables into a future market. Recently, World Economic Forum has published top 10 2023 emerging technologies. So flexible batteries is one of them. I think, Jamie, if you have that picture, maybe you can share that.
Yeah, sure. Let me just share that screen.
Because they have, every year, I think World Economic Forum, they will, so if you see that flexible batteries, their applications with thin films, smart electronics, flexible displays, energy storage, smart textiles, wearable technologies, nanotechnology. So the flexible batteries are integrated with many different applications. That's why this technology is considered as one of the top 10 in 2023. So we are fortunate to be in that field in the right time, because it's very important to be in right time at right place.
Yeah. No, very good. Can I stop sharing that now? Good for now. Great. Good stuff. I mean, it's fascinating. There's obviously the medical industry. There's clear benefits for the medical industry. And then there's the other side, which is more retail, maybe more luxury items. So I think it's fascinating to see where the industry goes in the future and where the major adoption is. In terms of different power outputs, because I remember when you and I previously spoke, you were talking about the different power outputs and what would be appropriate depending on the application. So just talk me through how you manage that from a technical perspective and then ultimately from a application perspective.
Right. Yeah. So the flexible battery, so as I said earlier, the flexible batteries for all the different wearables is going to be very critical when it comes to the user friendly. Like you should not feel that you are having a battery on your body, because it should be like integrated into your either fabric or wherever it is. You should not feel that you are having something on your body. So for that, different wearables, like different sensors and different, depending on the equipment, they use different power, because battery means it is like a huge general broad word. So whatever the wearable needs to be powered, the power is coming from these flexible batteries. So different sensors will have different power requirements from those capacity of the batteries. So for example, we have categorized into 3 different categories. 10 milliamp hour battery. So those are very low requirement wearables. For example, these sensors and as well as the RFIDs, smart cards, all these, they need a very small amount of the power, because they may not be using a lot of power to work on that. Because so those are a 10 milliamp hour battery. And the second range is around 10 to 100 milliamp hour. So which are like LEDs, active lighting for the construction workers. All those things are for the communication, the Bluetooth communication. So they need a little bit of more power than these sensors. So that's why we categorize it into the second category. The third category is in cold, in winter, they need to be heated jackets. And those things and haptic gloves, they need a lot of power. They draw a lot of power from the battery. So for that, we need to have 1000 milliamp hour batteries, because these batteries, the capacity is measured in respect of milliamp hours. So that's why, sorry, the third category into 1000 milliamps. So all these three different capacities of the batteries are useful for, these are all wearables, but different categories of the wearables. That's how we are making them, version 1 and version 2.
And you mentioned the heated jackets and the gloves as well. Say virtual reality gloves. Yeah. And I remember you talking to me before about the amount of weight that a military personnel would carry in terms of battery. So talk me through that, and talk me through the solution that wearables would provide there.
Right, yeah. So one of the articles we were reading, it shows that right now one of the typical soldier is carrying almost 15 to 20 pounds of a battery to power up all the wearables, whatever they are carrying on their body. So at least we are not saying that we will take out all that 15-20 pounds, but we distribute those battery power into like a fabric. So and this the casing, because all the battery right now is covered up in a stainless steel or some casing that also has some weight. So completely casing is taken out, and then the battery weight will be distributed. Even though we are doing, and also we are doing nanotechnology, because of the nano materials used in the battery, cathode and anodes, so we can reduce the weight also. But it may not be that much, but still we can reduce the weight a little bit and then distribute the weight all through the body instead of just carrying like a brick on the back.
Yeah, I guess good for posture as well. So maybe a little bit lighter, but then the kind of good for posture and movability, and I think it was obviously very important in the military. Yeah. And talk me through safety figures that are related to wearables and flexible batteries now compared to, let's say, EV batteries and other pouch cells.
Right, that is true. See, EV batteries nowadays, they are getting very famous, and now you have lots of information on the internet. Everyone is going through that information, and then the main concern is the safety concern with the lithium batteries. The people are afraid of that. They are explosive. Lithium is not good, and all those things. Even though these wearables, these flexible batteries are also having the similar lithium chemistry, but the main important factor here is the size of the battery, because for EV batteries you have like big suitcases on the car trunk. If you see that, it is like a very thick, and if you open the Tesla car, I have seen my son's car, so it is all like a big suitcase of the battery. Battery is the heaviest among all the other weights, even compared to the other weights in the Tesla car. So whereas because it needs a lot of power, whereas our wearables, the sensors and all, they draw very less power, so the battery size is very small. So because of the usage of smaller amount of cathode and anodes, so the safety is already reduced to minimal. So we don't need to worry about that. And also the lithium, as I said, lithium chemistry. So the lithium, it is the same as in the EV batteries, but because of the less amount of lithium used here, we don't need to worry. And already the safety features are already incorporated into these wearables. As another problem will be overcharge protection, because if it overcharges, it gets warmer or hot. So you may get like very hot. So that is already taken care in the wearables. And then the temperature regulation, even if the temperature rises, they will have some insulation material around that, so that you will not, your body will not feel that temperature. And then short circuits, that is another problem with the EV batteries. That is also taken care to prevent that for the safety.
And what do you think will drive disruption and innovation in wearables and flexible batteries? Of course, in EV, there's elements like fast charge or range, kind of increasing range or increasing the amount of cycles. Or of course, safety is always an element. But in wearables, what do you think is the biggest driver when it comes to disruption? What's everyone kind of working towards?
That will be like mainly the disruption will be definitely the fast charge will be important, and how long you can use it. The longevity is going to be very interesting here in this case, because people doesn't want to recharge again after like couple of hours of usage. At least you need to have longevity for a day. For example, 10 hours, 10 to 12 hours in a day. The battery has to be working. So the longevity here is going to be a big motivation, big drive. Fast charging, that is also possible here. As I said, because of the size of the battery, you don't need a lot of charging power to do it. Whereas our smartphone, generally we are charging for at least like, even with the fast out the plugs they are getting now, it is taking like a couple of hours, 1 hour to 2 hours. But because of the power requirement, here we are looking for wearables all are 10 milliamp hours. So charging should not be a problem. They can charge within 10 minutes.
Very good. And let's talk about NavaFlex a little bit. What stage are you in right now, and where do you see your biggest opportunities in the flexible and wearable market?
Thanks. Yeah, this is a good question, because NavaFlex, as you said, we started 2 years ago as a startup, and then we have now full equipment starting from, we make our own cathodes, we make our own anodes. Starting from the powder, we make ourselves. So we are not depending on any powder manufacturers or anything. And we have equipped with all the equipment, starting from making the powder to make slurries, and then coatings, and then heat treating them, then making cells, fabricating cells, and glow box, because we need to use the glow box because lithium is very sensitive to moisture and oxygen content. And then testing it. We have different testing units with the different power ranges, and then to do the flexibility test, we have designed our own unit, because the main important thing is to make flexible. Our battery needs to be flexible. It needs to be working even if you are folding or unfolding it. So those equipment also we have designed and we have made ourselves, and then we have shown at the different angles. We bend that cell like 90 degrees, 120 degrees, 180 degrees also, and then still give the same capacities. All those equipment we have built our own, and we are able to measure them with a small, there will be some degradation, very negligible degradation of the capacities. And then we have shown 100 to 500 cycles of the longevity. As I said earlier, the life cycles, we need to make sure that it works without a big degradation, up to 500 cycles. One cycle means charge, it will go to, we do lithium batteries always like 3.6 voltage. So we do charge from 3 to 4.2 volts and then discharge it to 3 volts. So that is called one cycle. You charge it and then discharge it. And that's how we do number of cycles up to 500 we have shown, with very less degradation. And our goal is to show that 1,000 cycles. If we can do that 1,000 cycles, then we'll be good. And flexibility with the different angles, we are showing that. And we have made some prototypes. One of the company, they were looking for strap for batteries. So we made strap cells, a couple of them, and then we sent it to that company, and they're still testing, because we can say that they're working in our lab, always we'll be happy, but we need to see it is working under the customer's evaluation and their conditions and all. So we are looking for their feedback, and if we need to fine tune some of the things, then we can do that, and we are happy with that. And then we are in conversation with 2 different companies also, we are getting their specs.
Great.
And
very good. That first prototype you mentioned, so it's a watch strap, you say? Yeah, strap for the watch.
I don't think that is for the watch. They have some wearable like that.
Okay.
It's not for watch. They did not disclose that.
Confidential.
But they're making some sensor which can be like wearing as a and the wrist.
Ah, okay. So for the medical industry, perhaps.
Some medical, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Um, I know there's obviously a long lead time in EV when it comes to, getting some kind of that technology or the whole battery pack itself into an EV. I think it can take around 5 years. When it comes to wearables, for something to be commercially viable, is it longer than the EV market, or is it typically more accessible?
Oh, that's a very, very good question. See, the EV market, that is, as I said earlier, it is a completely different ball game because of the amount of power required and all those things and safety. And here, the main you can get it the wearables here, the biggest problem will be the price range and technological advancement. So those are the two important things, and then the other factors which can affect is like integration with other devices, like you need to connect it to the smartphone or computer or to the data system, and of course the safety, the health, and those things. But the price range, why I'm saying is that because these wearables, the wide range of price points, starting from basic fitness, those things, to monitoring the heartbeat and something glucose, anything required to measure or monitor from our body, they take different wearables, so that the price may not be that still affordable to the common user. So if more companies are coming to make wearables, I think then the price will come down, then that will drive to use more wearables. So the time wise, I don't think it will take 5 years. It will be like just a couple of years, 1 to 2 years, to get that thing. As I said, another biggest challenge would be for the privacy and security concerns, because this data, you need to protect the privacy. So where is it going? What are the data we have been collecting, and then where it is going, and how many people can access that personal data? Because recently, I was reading, I think yesterday, day before yesterday, New York Times. Most of the apps, the default setting is you are sharing the information without your notice. So you need to go to your settings to change that. Okay, I need privacy. Otherwise, if you generally we don't think like that, right? So we think that default should be privacy, but no, default is they're just open. Whatever data it is collecting, it is 24/7. It is sending immediately to everyone. Everyone means at least to that company, and that company can share to anyone. That is how you are accepting to download that app. So I was, wow, my God. So that is the privacy concern. So all these wearables, definitely, because they're collecting data from your body and all those things. So we need to be more concerned about that. So I think that is the biggest challenge, I would guess.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my next questions, was what do you see as the biggest threat to wearables? So do you think there'll be an alternative technology that does the same job that a flexible battery would? Or do you think it's things like data protection or AI or something like that would integrate with the wearables?
I think the biggest threat would be, as I said, this privacy and security, and because they often very they will collect the sensitive data, right? That, including health information, and the risk of data breach and all. So the unauthorized access, we need to prevent that. So that is one of the threat, and the other threat is these medical devices are going to be first going for the regulatory compliances. You need to get from the government that can you use this on your body or not. So those regulations, they may take time. I don't know how long it will take, even though they're not hazardous or dangerous on the body, but still there are some regulations to be cleared when you are using in the close proximity of the body those wearables and batteries, of course flexible batteries you are carrying on your body, right? So we need to I think there are some the regulatory things we need to be concerned about how long they will take. So I think that will be the biggest threat. But I think once one company has taken all those things, and then many companies can just come and do that. So certain segments like a wearable market, such as basic fitness trackers, smartwatches, maybe approaching the saturation also, because right now they're already taken care of those things. But more for the medical devices, I think we need to be a little bit concerned.
Okay. In terms of getting to the market, we talked a little bit about that before. In your opinion, is it more or less commercially viable and scalable in flexible and wearable batteries versus EV batteries? So if let's say a potential founder of a business is thinking, do I go down the EV route or do I go down the wearables route? Which one's easier?
Yeah, yeah, it's really tough question, because wearable market is new. It is completely new and it is emerging. So I would prefer to go on that route, and we can use already EV battery has been many people are working, and already the equipment needed to scale it up. As you said earlier, the scaling up is very important, because you can't scale up by overnight. If you want to make thousands of batteries or millions of batteries per week, you need to have the technology, the equipment need to be there to prepare all those batteries. We are lucky that we are using exactly the same chemistry and same materials which are used in the EV battery. So for scaling up, we don't need to worry. We can just go and, okay, I need this equipment. You can buy to make a big you can fabricate a big warehouse, and then start once you have money. And of course, money is the main thing. So once you have a good funding, getting the scale up from hundreds. Right now we are already making hundreds of batteries within a week, but now we have to go to thousands, 10,000s, or more than that within a week or a month. For that, scaling up is very important. All the equipment is already fabricated, it is ready. You can just go in the market and then buy it. We don't need to innovate the scale up equipment. But the main problem would be the batteries we can make, but the wearables, right now we need to see whether the market for the wearables is that big or not. Then only it will have more successful. Once we have many companies making different wearables, then we will have a good market. Because for EV batteries, as you know, everyone is now moving towards that. Coming 5 years, all car companies, they are going for EV batteries. So similarly, the wearable market is just now emerging, and once people see the importance of the wearables in the medical industry and as well as in the fashion industry, everyday life, if we can change it, I think more companies will come forward, and then they do the wearables in a longer. It will not take a longer time. It will be like faster, and in that case, that's why we are hopeful that our flexible battery will come into picture. Because the wearables right now, people are not going towards that because of the rigid batteries. They are not user friendly. So whereas wearables can show that the consumer that, okay, you don't feel that you are having a wearable. It is already integrated in the clothing what you are wearing. It's like a smart fabric, smart clothing. So then more consumers will be looking forward to that, and then companies will come forward and then make them.
Great. How are your batteries handling the washing machine? Are they safe?
Yeah. So as I said earlier, our main future, what we are saying, is flexible and washable. We have already shown at least like a few batteries in washing machine at least 2 or 3 times, and then washed them, and then they're still working. So our aim is to increase more number of washing cycles and then show that it is working, because washability is the main future people will be looking for. Whenever we are saying smart clothes, smart fabric, you don't want to say that, okay, you need to take the battery out and then wash your cloth and then attach the battery. So for that, washing is very important. And as you know, it is a big, the lithium batteries are against to water. They don't like even the moisture. Few ppm of moisture, they will kill the battery. So we need to come up with a good sealing and a good encapsulant to protect the water entering inside the battery. So we have taken care of all those things. We had some hiccups in the beginning, but now we are very successful, and we can show that we can put it in the washing machine and then take it out and still connect it, and then still it is working, not with much degradation. But we had to show many times. The other thing is in the washing, it is not just washing in the water. It has to be protected with the mechanical abrasion, because the washing machine rotates like this. So the mechanical abrasion also, it should be protected. And also if someone is using hot water, because these batteries cannot withstand high temperatures. Hot water is also like an enemy to the batteries. So we need to protect everything with that. So we are using some different materials, different membranes to protect from the high temperature.
Great.
So yeah, successfully we have shown the washability, but still we are on the improving that.
Great. And the cycles you've done so far, what temperature was the wash?
Right now we just went to 30 degrees C, 30 Celsius.
Yeah, interesting.
But we can go up to 50 to 60 Celsius, but we wanted to first go slowly.
No, sure.
That's why. So we did not heated that water that effectively.
Yeah.
First cycle. But next one, slowly we'll be increasing to 40 degrees and then 50 degrees and all.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you don't want to blow up the washing machine on the first try, so you want to do a few tests first.
And we are doing it in our house, so my wife will be like afraid.
Yeah, that's not going to go down too well. Without revealing too much IP, what have you done then to address that problem then, in terms of making sure that the battery is properly sealed and it's safe from abrasion, these sorts of things?
Yeah, it is more IP related, but we are using some encapsulants and different materials which can withstand those temperatures. So the encapsulant means the sealants, whatever we are using, they are more resistant to all these mechanical as well as water.
Great. You made me feel better, because I'm hoping in the future, I'm going to have a take charge jumper when I'm doing these recordings, and I need to know that I can wash it afterwards. So that makes me feel a bit better.
Yeah, sure.
Talking about AI and machine learning, and communicating with the cloud, and obviously with different systems in the medical field is super important when it comes to wearables. So talk me through how it interacts, and where the current technology is at when it comes to transferring the information.
Oh, yeah, AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning, definitely they play a significant role in enhancing the functionality of the user experience of the wearables. Because as I said earlier, all the activity tracking and predictive analysis, for example, for the fitness, most of the athletes, if they're doing all the routines, they need to be tracking their muscle movement and running, all those things with those sensors. And then they have to collect the data, and then they have to send the data to someone to analyze it, right? So for these are all wearables. They are equipped with AI, where the analyzer user activity patterns such as like walking, running, sleeping. So they will be collecting that data and predicting with machine learning models. They can provide insights into the user's behavior, like offering personalized recommendation. Okay, you are sleeping a little bit more, or your speed of running is high, so you need to slow down. So they can predict the behavior and then project like, okay, if you do this, it can be good. So that all those things will be very important with AI and also the machine learning. The algorithms can learn from the user behavior and the preferences to provide those proper recommendations. And this applies to the areas such as fitness, daily routines, and like even the diet plans for the medical. For example, if you're eating lot of sugars. It will say that, okay, no, you don't need, your calorie is already high, so just stop it. Like those kind of patterns, they should warn you before you eat it. So all those things, I think machine learning and artificial intelligence, already they are in place. So we can integrate them with these wearables. They will be very helpful. And similarly with batteries also, they will be monitoring the capacity, as I said, the capacity of the battery, how long it will work. They will say that, okay, it's about to be discharged, you need to quickly disconnect and then charge it, or look for some other battery or something like that. So all these things will enable the wearables to incorporate these features inside the wearables to improve our improve the efficiency of those wearables.
So it can tell you to put the cake down. Maybe like a flash of red to say no, you don't need any more of that.
Walk away from here.
Yeah. There was an interesting application we spoke about last time, which was heat exhaustion. So yeah, I found that quite fascinating.
Yeah, so recently the heat exhaustion sensors is going to be a big, very big thing, because in the nature now we are seeing the global temperatures are increasing a lot, and according to that, the heat exhaustion, the deaths related to heat exhaustion are becoming increased every year by year. Somewhere I read in the Nature article, in Europe last year or 2023, it was the hottest year in the global so far, and 62,000 deaths were related with respect to the heat exhaustion in Europe alone. And if you see all over world, they are increasing. One article, if I remember right, it is second or third to the cancer, the deaths. So that many deaths are happening now because of the heat exhaustion. And heat exhaustion is like very bad that it will not give any symptoms also. For example, drivers, UPS drivers or male drivers, though they start their work from morning 8 o'clock and they'll be driving in too hot, by the evening one of them, they're like collapsing in their seat and they're dying. So to prevent that, people are now, a couple of companies are already working for heat exhaustion sensors. They will measure the body temperature, and then they can say that, okay, now you have to take a rest, you need to go into some shelter, because you are already above the heat exhaustion limit. So that's why at least it may not prevent you it will not prevent the death, but at least it can prevent you to take rest. So go there, and then at least you can have like a warning, like orange light, red light or something like that. Okay, orange means you are already almost there, you need to quickly go, and red means stop completely. So those sensors are very important now to prevent these many deaths. So the heat exhaustion sensors are going to be very useful in the coming future, and we will be supplying them our flexible batteries for those sensors.
There's so many professions where that would be applicable as well. So construction workers, people who work in the mines, any couriers, as you said. The list is endless. So I found that fascinating. With obviously the rise in global temperatures, it's going to be an increasing problem.
Yeah, that is true. So the construction workers, I forgot about the other application. Earlier I said active lighting, but when you said construction workers, I remember that one of the company was asking for LED lighting on the shirts, because right now on the road, whoever are working in the road constructions and all, when it is in the evening or the sunlight is not that much, they wear the fluorescent these jackets, so that people traveling in the cars, they can see from the distance and they can slow down. But what they were saying or observing was, when it is cloudy and rainy day, that fluorescent was not that visible from a distance. So they were getting some accidents because of that. So, and human life is very valuable, so you don't want even a small death because of that, right? So that's why they were looking for LED active lighting on the construction workers' jackets or on the shirts. So they don't like, right now there are like little lights are there, but they have to hang batteries on their back, which they are not liking it. So even though they were given, they were not wearing it because they don't like to have for like many hours on the road when they are working on the. So that's why our flexible battery, they wanted to try our flexible batteries to light those active lights.
And
So that is one of the.
I would imagine it's safer from a liquid perspective. So if it's raining, same situation.
Oh, yep, yeah. They are already protected. Yes.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Why would or why should a battery engineer pursue a career in flexible batteries and wearables?
Oh, good question again. So it will offer the battery engineers, especially in the flexible thing, compelling reasons. The key motivation would be the innovation and emerging technology. As I said earlier, 2023, that is the batteries, flexible batteries is one of the emerging technology. So it represents a cutting edge. It's like a new innovation, a rapidly evolving field within the battery technology. They will have opportunity to do a lot of innovation in the research and energy storage also. It will be useful, especially as I said, the innovation is needed because of all these problems, because it needs to be like flexible, and it cannot be it needs to be washable. Okay, and then it needs to be protected with the short circuits, all those. It's all new research. You need to be doing the latest research, cutting edge technology. So I would suggest that the battery engineer, they should be, because for the EV also there is a lot of research going on, but I think it is getting saturated there, whereas here it is a new. And each wearable, as I said, there are many different wearables for different applications. They will have, it's not like only one flexible battery will work for everything. You need to modify according to the requirement of those wearables. So I think a lot of applications in the electronics, wearable electronics, like IoT devices, healthcare applications, consumer electronics evolution, and especially the textiles, energy, storage energy for the solutions for the textiles also, like smart fabric. It's going to be like smartphone like 15 years ago. So now it's going to be smart fabric or smart clothing in future. You can see like you can have whatever the phone, smartphone, you don't need to pull out your phone for your video call or something. So you can just press on your shirt and then you can see. I'm talking with Jamie. Hi Jamie, how are you? On the shirt itself. So all those things can happen once these flexible batteries are seamlessly integrated into the fabric.
Nice. And you touched upon it a little bit there. So let's say you're speaking to an engineer or a scientist, a battery engineer or a scientist in the early phase of their career, and they're interviewing with you, and they're interviewing with an EV company as well. You know, a battery technology company that focuses on EVs. How would you convince them to join you?
Yeah, it will be tough if they have already decided to go to the EV. But if they're just like thinking about that, then I would say that, as I said earlier, it is a cutting edge technology on the wearables. And I will tell them that, see, if the EV, already people are using EV, batteries and all. Whereas if you are working on this new technology with the wearables, if you are contributing with the flexible battery for some wearable, then you can proudly say that, okay, I have contributed to whatever you are wearing, your shirt. If you are talking with someone on your shirt instead of phone, yeah, that is with my research. I've done that. Or if someone is a medical patient, if he says that, okay, I'm using your device to monitor my heartbeat, and then it helped me to go to the doctor quickly. So that will be like more, you will have more happiness that, okay, I have saved one life with that. So those type of things, I think definitely more viable with respect to wearables and flexible batteries than the EV battery.
Very good.
That's what I would say. And also in the future generations, they are going to be more dependent on these new technologies, and smart clothing, and these flexible batteries will be definitely useful for all the wearable devices.
Very good. And let's summarize a little bit. So what does the future look like for not just wearables and flexible batteries, but also NavaFlex. What do you see happening in the future for you?
Yeah, so our objective is quickly to find different customers. Here, customers are not a common user. Our customers are like wearable manufacturers who are making sensors, who are making different wearables for different applications. So we need to quickly find them and then fine tune our technology. Already we are making, as I said, three different categories: 10 milliamp hour, 100 milliamp hour, and 1000 milliamp hour. So fine tune according to their needs and their requirements, and that is our first target. And then quickly right now we are in the lab scale. Within a couple of years we wanted to go into pilot plant scale, where we can be manufacturing different flexible batteries, like many a month, or many, like at least a few thousands to a million a year. That's what our objective is. And recently one of the study it was showing that 2022 to 27, like 5 years, it's a lot of growth is going to happen, like 22.27% every year. It's going to grow within 5 years. So if you start from, even if a small number, right now it is like a couple of hundreds of millions, then it should go to billions within 5 years. That market that has that much of potential growth in these flexible batteries. So it will become one of the major technologies in future, at least coming few years, especially when it is integrated with all the different systems. That is very important. You need to integrate that with the smartphones, because the communication is very important. The wearables will be collecting the data, but where is it going from? So as soon as it collects the data, someone else is monitoring it, the healthcare officials or some fitness trainers. They are looking at that immediately and then giving the feedback to the user that, okay, now stop and then do that. And with of course AI and ML, as we talked about, they can stop you eating a lot of sugars and all those things. They can immediately say that. So it will improve the quality of life for regular human beings a lot.
Great. Ram, I've really enjoyed speaking to you and kind of shining a spotlight on wearables and flexible batteries, because it doesn't always get the press it deserves. There's a lot of excitement and focus on EV and eVTOL and different industries like this. So there's evident benefits for human beings in different applications. And I'm excited to see what the future looks like for you as well as the industry. And I'm looking forward to receiving my Take Charge jumper in the post one day from a courier who's wearing a jumper with heat sensors on them, and everyone's happy and safe.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Jimmy. Thanks. Nice talking to you. And thank you very much for bringing nice, good questions and very interactive session. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
No, likewise. Thank you again, Ram, and good luck.